everyone! Welcome back to a question and answer review episode. We haven't done this in a while and I actually skipped the one last year, so babawi ako for this year. We are doing Miss Universe 2024 question and answer portion. So for the question and answer portion this year, I was actually a little bit confused because it was both the top 5 and then there were 2 rounds of the Q&A. I just didn't quite see the point of it maybe, and given like the questionable elimination rounds for this edition, this is based on the comments on social media, I think the double portion of the Q&A did not really help with the whole criteria of the pageant this year. When I found out that there were 2 question and answer portions given to the same set of top 5 finalists, I was like, okay, so what was the exact bearing of it? Like sometimes in pageantry, being a judge in a lot of local pageants here as well, it becomes more confusing when you do 2 rounds of the question and answer portion without any elimination, because what if the candidate does better in the first round and doesn't do well in the second round? So I think it made people question more if there was actually a strict criteria or a credible criteria that was followed in this year's edition. So instead of the question and answer portion being a clearer criteria on why they chose winners, it made things more blurry. When it comes to the questions this year, though, it's very these are the questions that we already encountered in the training sessions in Q&A here in the Philippines, for example, in beauty camps. Like, these questions are not surprising anymore. In the previous years, like from the years of Pia Wurtzbach up to maybe, I think up until last year, they did include questions that are quite challenging, some controversial as well. I'm thinking maybe because based on their experience from last year, with the reign of Shanice, for example, it was so addled with an intense pressure on the political climate. So she wasn't able to move around a lot as Miss Universe. So I'm thinking if that affected how Miss Universe was structured now in terms of what kind of queen they're actually looking for. Like, maybe they just want a super duper universal beauty instead of a queen who is really well spoken. And this actually has a big impact starting from like how the national pageants would choose their candidates that they would send to the Miss Universe pageant. Because if they do not give as much weight, for example, to the Q&A portion, it gives the impression that they're not really looking for a spokesperson anymore. Like maybe they want to put more emphasis on a universal beauty, for example. So I think this edition maybe wants to feel a little lighter compared to the previous editions where, of course, if they put their candidates or their queens in the position of answering politically charged questions, I'm not sure if the current owners have enough diplomatic relations to back them up, which I think happened in the case of Shanice Palacios, that the USA, for example, could not give her shelter or could not protect her, for example, or give her refuge. I think that's the right term for that one. So her reign wasn't really felt. But what the first set of questions do require from the top 5 finalists is the feeling that they are sure of who they are. They are really sure of themselves. It's more of a personality question that brings out the authenticity from these ladies. So even though this set of questions do not sound difficult or challenging, it actually requires a lot still from the candidates themselves. So let's go through the first round of the question and answer portion. And due to copyright reasons, we are not posting the videos here just to be safe. I'll just be posting their transcript instead. So first to answer was Nigeria, and her question was, what is more important, being liked or being respected, and why? And she asked to repeat the question, which I always appreciate because you don't want to miss out on that opportunity of getting or hearing the question wrong. So she answered, I feel like it's being respected. We live in a society where we often don't feel respected because of who we are. And I feel like when we respect ourselves, you respect others around you, and respect is really important. I feel like she gave a really strong answer, and I like the way she delivered her answer as well. It was very persuasive, like made in yung sagot niya. But I do feel like she cut her answer a little short. Like she was rushing it a little bit. I wish she would have been able to simmer in the moment more, just stay where she is and consume more time to be able to say more. Because I can sense that she is quite a spokesperson actually based on her answers in both rounds, which we'll get to later on. Up next to answer is Mexico. So her question was, when something bad is happening in your life, what gives you power to keep going? And she says, what gives me the power to keep going in my life is my mom through her fight of cancer. Right now, I'm feeling very happy to be here to represent her resonance, her perseverance and discipline about all her illness. I want to invite you to always feel your dreams, and as a powerful woman says, I want to be the queen of the people's heart. Her story is actually a strong one for this as an answer to this question, but the last line that was supposed to be her, I guess she felt like it was supposed to be her punchline or her winning statement, it didn't exactly connect flawlessly from her story itself. And there was also a lot of distracting moments for her where whenever the audience reacts, she would make this, I'm not sure if it's like a nervous laugh or something, but she would be distracted with the audience reactions. And that's the difference, I think, with, for example, how Denmark answered her question. And her question goes, how would you live your life differently if you knew nobody would judge you? And I remember thinking that as I was listening to her answer, I was like, wow, she is really loud. It was like she was shouting her answer in a way, but it's just her energy's really high, like it's really up there. So her answer goes, I would never change how I live my life. We learn from our mistakes. We learn every day. We learn something new, and we got to take that and bring it to the future. That's why I live each day by each day, and I just got to stay positive. So no, I would not change nothing. So her answer was pretty basic. It was straightforward, but I think the audience could also feel that it was quite authentic. Like it was really just how she is and what she felt, and you could really feel her energy while answering the question. And her loudness, I won't take this negatively because it really felt like her energy was just pushing through the screens that we were watching in at home. So I really like that about her actually. Up next is Thailand, and her question goes, what qualities should someone have to be a truly successful leader? And I actually really like her answer, and I feel like she gave the best answer in this round. Her answer goes, a quality a leader should have for me is empathy, because no matter how good you are, what kind of education you are, in the end, you need empathy to care about your people, to care about their well-being. And not only a leader, I believe that everyone in this world needs to have empathy among each other. That's how we can unite. Thailand, for me, gave the most complete answer. Like, there's nothing I would change about it, nothing I would add to it anymore. So I thought she would actually end up in the top 2. And finally, we have Venezuela. I really like her question, actually. Describe the ideal woman of today, and what qualities do you have in common with her? But before that, by the way, ang weird lang ng blocking of the translator, the interpreter behind her. Like, Olivia and Miss Venezuela was like blocking her, and she has to like turn around to see if the interpreter really understood her. So it's like usually interpreters are also quite revered on the Miss Universe stage because all the pressure is on them to like translate the answers of their candidates accurately and also beautifully. Usually they're posted like right next to the candidate itself. So it was just quite distracting and it felt like a bit of a struggle coordinating the translation with her. So yeah. Anyway, her answer goes, my ideal, I think she misheard it actually, because even in the transcript it says, my ideal moment instead of ideal woman. So my ideal moment today has been sharing this moment with these amazing 127 women from all across the world, leaving behind our differences and sending the world a message of respect, love, and union, because that's the way the world is built. Yeah, I feel like it's quite a pageant template answer for sure. I'm not sure if she really did misinterpret or if she misheard the ideal woman versus ideal moment. So for the first round of the question and answer portion, my top two was definitely Thailand and Nigeria. Third will be Denmark, and then fourth will be Mexico, and then fifth would be Venezuela. So that's my ranking the first time I watched the first round. And I was actually quite underwhelmed with how this round went, especially since Miss Universe has been crowning queens who have such strong voices. Even the answer of Shanice last year was really, really good. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I remember she put out statistics as well. I was like, okay, this is like a high level educated lady over here. And then you have queens like Zosie Bini Tunzi and Harnaz and Wag na tayong lumayo, Catriona Gray. So it was just one fearlessly outspoken queen after another. So usually in the years where it's a strong mix of very articulate queens, Denmark would really kind of fall as a runner-up. It's like, oh, that's nice. You can see her personality through her answer, but you're not quite sure if it's like Miss Universe, super quotable, I remember this one-liner, or even memorize her whole answer kind of thing that makes her iconic, that makes her a legendary Miss Universe queen. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, you pageant fans out there get it. If you know, you know. And then we go to the second round of the question and answer portion, where they are given one common question and then the girls won't be able to hear the answer of the girl who went first or the one before them. So I guess this in a way contributes to like really differentiating which one is a better speaker. The common question is, Miss Universe has inspired generations of women. What is your message to the ones watching you right now? We have to be careful with this kind of question because it gives a very specific context. Like, in a way, the pageant kind of wants to rebuild or reintroduce itself. That, hey, remember the legacy of Miss Universe and the impact that it has had in you. It has been around for so long that we watched it when we were kids, and maybe a lot, if not all, of the girls who were standing on that stage that night used to be those girls who were just watching on TV and never thought that they would be on the stage. So I think the question wants to evoke the experiences of these candidates on how Miss Universe has changed their lives, or if not their lives, the lives of the people they knew, especially in countries where Miss Universe is so big. Like, for example, the Philippines or Thailand, it's just a very specific question that requires a specific answer, or at least an answer that falls within that certain framework. So once again, Nigeria went first, and she said, as a woman who has faced adversities, I feel like I have a powerful story. I don't stand there as Chidima Adetshina. I stand there as a symbol of hope, a beacon of faith, as someone who has persevered with grace. I believe I have stood for not only myself, but for Africans. So I was hoping that she would have been more specific with her experience, for example, like what Zosie Bini Tunzi did way back. Like, oh, I wish I would get to see a girl who would be crowned who looks like me and who would break beauty standards. So there was just a lot of missed opportunities for this answer, although compared to the answers of the other candidates in this batch, I feel like it's one of the stronger ones already. But it still could have been more inspiring. Like, for example, maybe she could have added a line or two about the experience of African women and what her winning could mean for them, and why does she think bringing home a Miss Universe crown would be so important. So just those things to really make the answer stronger. So I feel like if she could have added more, it would have been a crown-worthy answer. And in both rounds, though, I did feel that Nigeria tends to have more clipped answers. Like, it felt like she was rushing a little bit. It's just one of those moments where I just wish she could have said more. And I think if she did, she could have brought home the crown. Up next to answer is Mexico, and her answer is, as my social project says, say no to cyberbullying, cyber harassment. Right now, we're in a huge problem that is social media, and the message that I want to give to the world is to fight, control, and adapt to this new situation with the emotional intelligence that we need to have. If you have this emotional intelligence, so we can control those emotions, and with those emotions, we can give that message with no fears. And it sounded like an answer that was already in her pocket and she just waited for it to bring out. The question, once again, if we go back to it, it's really inspiring the generations of women, whether it's the generations of the past, generations of the future. Although that her answer did bring up an urgent matter, I wish that it did focus more on urgent matters for women. Up next, we have Denmark. So her answer is, a message to all the world that is watching out there is, no matter where you come from, no matter your past, you can always choose to turn it into your strengths. It will never define who you are. Just got to keep fighting. I stand here today because I want to change. I want to make history, and that's what I'm doing tonight. So never give up. Always believe in yourself and your dreams, and that is exactly what we are going to do. So once again, she served us energy. And I think she is the only candidate in the top 5 who really answered the question in such a way where she is really delivering a message to women out there. Like, even though it does sound like quite a general statement, it's still a statement that a lot of women could relate to. Like, okay, the past will not define your future. You can still do so much with your life. It could actually address a lot of issues that women face. Could it have been a stronger answer? Yes, it could have. And like I said a while ago, if you have more articulate candidates in the mix here, the night could have gone so much more different. But still, her energy was there in her answer, and the way she was so convinced of herself, like you high spirits din niya, her confidence, parang the people who are listening to her would also feel inspired. So I think that's the magic touch also of being a Miss Universe queen. Up next, we have Thailand. So her answer is to always believe and to always have hope. Working on my project, Opal for Her, I work with a lot of breast cancer patients and doctors. We all know that it is a hard thing to overcome this disease. But what I can feel is that everyone has hope. Everyone believes that tomorrow will be a better day. As long as you believe, your power is infinite. As long as you have hope, your spirit and power will shine. I don't know why she didn't place higher, actually, but I really, really like her answer. And this round, I really am convinced that she is one of the more articulate candidates that Thailand has ever sent. I mean, she gave really good answers, and there was like 2 rounds if it wasn't enough to confirm. It's like, And then finally, we have Venezuela. So she says, the crown tonight does not only go to the representative of Miss Universe tonight, but the crown goes to every single woman who has earned the respect, love, and visibility for us to be here tonight. It's a nice message, like how the past generations of women walked so we could run, to that effect. It was a good answer. It's just that ang distracting talaga. It was even worse. The setup with the interpreter and the blockings this round was even worse. So I think that kind of robbed off a little bit of magic in that answer of Miss Venezuela. But if you read it in the transcript, it's really nice. So that wraps up our Miss Universe 2024 Q&A review. This was actually the shortest, I think, review that I've done for Miss Universe because the answers really were quite clipped. I think that's the perfect word for it. I feel like the ladies could have really expounded more. I wouldn't say that it's the strongest batch in terms of communication skills. And then it was 2 rounds pa. So, yeah. Congratulations to Denmark for winning Miss Universe. I mean, she is stunning. But also, I think a lot of people online, on social media, a lot of pageant fans are asking, like, what does this mean for the future editions of Miss Universe as well? Because, of course, in national pageants, we will have to assess what kind of girl we think Miss Universe is looking for so that we could send the girl who would most fit that template. And like what happens in national pageants, sometimes you have a really well-spoken girl, but the other girl is prettier face-wise. So which one do you pick? Which criteria has more weight? Which characteristic or skill do you think would take them farther in the international competition? So I think people have question mark emojis, everything on their heads right now. Exciting times, I guess, for the Miss Universe pageant. So that wraps up our question and answer review for Miss Universe 2024. I hope that you liked this episode. I wish we had more material to flesh out and to discuss, but the answers this year were quite simple and quick. Let me know what you guys think as well. Did you like the questions from this year's edition? And how did you find the communication skills of this batch of candidates? What would you like the organization to change in the next edition? So yeah, let me know in the comment section below. And I hope you enjoyed watching this episode. Please do subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so that you won't have to miss an episode. And let me know if you want me to catch up and do an episode on Miss Grand International question and answer review featuring CJ Opiasa. So let me know, guys. Thank you for watching.